The reason the Son was drawn to God. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. She was vital. She was broad-minded and confident at all times. She seemed to be an example of a perfect person, being talented and affluent in all aspects. Her son, who was a student at a prestigious university, contributed to her contentment. This lady, who was literally perfect and who envied no one from a worldly perspective, however, began to reveal a shadow across her face. She would keep her head down, being lost in her deep thought. I asked her why she was a little different now compared to before. I learned for sure that the saddest thing in the world is to live without knowing God. And I've been thinking a lot lately as to why I can't lead my family to meet Him. Since the time she began to attend church, everything had miraculously gone well. The needy financial situation of her family was now affluent. Yet her husband and children couldn't care less to join her in attending church. Sometimes she would suggest the family join her, only to hear their response, "Mom, it's good that you feel happy going to church, but don't try to talk us into going." Every time she heard that the day of Jesus' soon return was near, and that we should prepare for His coming, her heart would pound painfully from a feeling of anxiety and worry for her family. She thought about what she could do. The answer was to kneel before the cross. She realized that this was the only way to save her family. To carry the cross, it meant to win the victory in the battle with self. After a fierce self-battle, she testified, "At times, when I want to really go at my children and I try to hold it back, the intense pain I feel becomes overwhelming. Sometimes it took going into my room and wailing for me to suppress my anger. I've cried while calling upon Jesus countless times." One day, her son, who had been showing no interest whatsoever, came to church on the family invitation Sabbath. However, that was it. It seemed as though he had come simply to see what our church is like. It was during lunch on a Sunday that the son suggested to his father, "Dad, why don't you try going to church?" Surprised by his sudden and unexpected recommendation, the father asked, "Church? Why would I want to attend church?" "Well, I checked the place out one time, and Mom seemed to be the only one alone without her significant other. It was good to see others coming to church with their whole family. I think you should join Mom." She was shocked. She was left speechless by his recommendation. For all this time, she thought his attitude toward the church was rather sarcastic and mocking. Since then, every once in a while, the son would show up for a special church event and disappear. Feeling thankful even for that, she prayed harder. One day, her son came to church and expressed his wish to learn the Bible in more detail. And he explained what had driven him to want to study the Bible. Before, none of our family members could survive in front of my mom when we made a mistake or did something wrong. We had to simply bear her anger and rage until she calmed down. Then, one day, she began to change. While she should have exploded at least a handful of times, she now remained calm in the same situation. It was amazing, and I realized the time that this change began to occur in her was the time she began to attend church. So I began to wonder, what is it that this church has to teach to create such a change in a person? I wanted to find out for myself by studying the Bible. The number of Bible study sessions increased, and so the frequency of his church attendance. As he began to talk and hang with the church youth group, he slowly turned from a distant observer to an active member. If he decides to get baptized, she will probably be overwhelmed and cry out of thankfulness as she is reminded of all those moments where she struggled to be patient and to fight against the wave of her emotions in order to lead him to the church. The whole church is praying and hoping this young man will accept Jesus as his personal Savior and get baptized this year.